Skirmish's August series, the fourth and final week, where we have 6 returning teams vying for those top 5 spots, 5 of them actually being in the top 5. Now, the question is, how have those standings been affected, knowing that our round 1, our top 8 matches have concluded? Well, I'll show you where the standings were essentially, which is that Dancers was in first with 260 points. Habaxi was in second with 240 points. Uwu Kittens was in third with 195. Black Air Force Energy was in fourth with 180, and Esports Organization was in fifth with 140. However, I will point out that Uwu Kittens and Black Air Force Energy were knocked out in the first round, so their points are finalized. They are done, meaning that Uwu Kittens has secured their spot in the third place, but Black Air Force Energy could still be set up, or could still be stomped out by Esports Organization if Esports Organization goes on the run of their life and wins week 4 of Blue Skirmish. However, that is likely not to happen, and instead, we will be focusing on, like I said, those top 2 teams, Dancers and Habaxi, which seems like an even more impossible situation if Habaxi wants to claim first place over Dancers. Dancers currently is also in our bracket as we go into our matchup today, which is actually a victor's battle of week 2 versus week 3, Secret Champs versus Habaxi on Ascent, where Secret Champs will be starting out on the defensive side. Like I said, Habaxi needs to upset our week 3 victors because they need to get first place here and hope that Dancers gets 4th place this week if they want a chance at tying things up at 340 points. And then it would go to, KDA and combat score for a chance or an opportunity to win it all. For now, though, as you can see, these comps have already been locked in. It is that conventional mirror comp that we're used to seeing on Ascent time and time again. So we'll just have to see, if anything spicy happens outside of the normal. So we got logged in. I'm excited, though, to see. Like we said, Secret Champs, they're starting on the Defenders versus in week 3. They started out on the attack every single time. And you might not think that's that big of a difference, but if it's your more comfortable side and you're able to start really strong out the gate and get that momentum, get that snowball rolling, you can be really hard to shut down in the late stages. I mean, it probably would have allowed them to win the entire week 3 and get to the point that they are on a leaderboard. They might not be, in 1 through 5th, but they quickly jumped up to 9th just from winning that week. Either way, though, we are loaded in and getting ready to start. You can already see pings coming out. You can already see plans being formulated by these teams. All right. Either way, though, it does look like Spike is headed more towards the A site, and I like this kind of 2-2 split with the Jet playing mid. Maybe they'll get aggressive off of some of this KO utility early out the gate, maybe try and get some information or eliminate that lurking Killjoy, but we will have to wait and see. I also like this Killjoy utility in tree, so playing off a molecule here, they should be able to kind of deny that space pretty easily if they decide to have that Killjoy lurk through. For now, though, looks like they're avoiding a potential 0 point on A main, playing it pretty slow. So no contact necessarily being made yet, other than that Killjoy turret from Tiles being destroyed. What's interesting, though, is look at this. An early rotation out of Secret Champs over towards this A site. I mean, you can already see that KO, who started out on the B site, already now in A heaven just to get that suppression out, and it gets no information because, look, I mean, Abaxi's already rotated over completely to Tiles without really making much contact on A, other than that Omen top mid. You can see here, Divine Punishment just lurking, waiting for anybody that might have over-aggressed. But like I said, spikes them out to make contact out of garage, and there's that information that Achilles can now collect from the orb being collected. Here comes the execution from double initiator utility, and our first contact will be made by Cryo, who wins their exchange, opening up that site for the team to be taken. The rotations have come through pretty immediately, and Spike is actually pretty late because they wanted that 0 point to get off. They will be able to make safe passage in to the site thanks to Kitty Glamour's crossfire. So now it will be a 3v4 retake with now 2 players being on death's door in terms of their HP. Looks like a backstep's coming through from God's Punishment, and it might be just what they need. They've spotted the Nether, and Molecule is there to be the last to fall, cleaned up by Kitty Glamour, and that is a first point on the board for our attackers, on the board for Habaxi. I mean, a beautiful rotation, and I mean, a beautiful, I would say, post plan specifically. The lurk, like I said, from Diviner God's Punishment that started out on top mid, and they slowly made their way through market, which was left unchecked because they were too focused on trying to get onto the site, trying to get that retake attempt to come through. Either way, though, jump into the next round. Obviously, the buys are going to come through for Herbaxi now. Specifically, I want to say there's 2 Vandals on the board, which is definitely interesting. They've now a Phantom. Either way, 2 big boy rifles, I should say. So they'll have to make sure that they don't overheat and hand those over to the full save side of Secret Champs. You can see, you know, a Ghost is the most, I guess, impressive weapon that they have here for their Duelist Dagger to try and get something done here with this aggression, with this Jiggle Peek main.
2 suppressed.
The 0 point from Distorted will be able to spot out 2 here, so that will slow down the attempt just a little bit. The question I have here, though, is Dagger going to be able to pull off some insane shots, or will Cryo's upward position, this high-low game, find its mark? Not quite. Flashpoint goes out, but the timing is wrong, and Cryo will sneak the first blood in, and once again, they're rotating out based on that presence that's been established by that Killjoy and Tyos since the round's start. Question is, will they expect 2 on site, specifically a shorty, especially now that Recon Bolt has been used? You can see the util layering in terms of that fragment, in terms of that paranoia, now forcing these members off site. And it is just going to be a question of how they dismantle this bolt hold. 0 point goes out, but it doesn't even matter. Those better weapons mowing them down. Site will be taken effortlessly. Rotations come through, and it almost is able to find one, and it is in fact Distorted. That will make it hurt just a little bit, but ultimately that weapon will be collected, and it is a semi-flawless bonus round coming out from Herbaxi to secure them a second. Now, obviously, it's usual. You win your pistol, you win your bonus, unless you're just like PRX and EG, where that was not the case yesterday. And so this is the round where it starts to matter. You know, like I said, those 2 rifles that are being carried over from the bonus for Herbaxi will definitely need to shine here if they want to convert. Now, I would say a pseudo-thrifty versus now the full rifle buy-up that comes out from that second round save on Secret Champs' side. I want to see some aggression. I want to see some first bloods going in favor of Secret Champs, and that might be exactly what they're awarded here. Util coming out. It's going to be a pretty fast attempt this time out the gate. A change of pace for Herbaxi, and so far it hasn't worked. A 1-for-1 trade. Dagger trying to hold down the site alone. It's actually Achilles who's able to do it with 4, leaving Cryo now in the 1v3, make that a 1v2 as they're able to use the Judge to get another, to get the weapon upgrade, and get information onto where Molecule is. Now evening things out, bringing the chances at a round win, at a clutch, back into fruition. Rex has no information, no thanks to that updraft for where the reposition could be here. But they do have visibility on where Spike is. Cryo, though, patient, waiting for Rex to search, waiting for Rex to slip up. It's all going to be a matter of timing, though, here. What angle are you checking when they finally swing? And it is the wrong one. A 4K for a 4K for Cryo to get the 3v1 clutch to keep their team in a steady now 3-0 lead against the Secret Champs, against our Week 3 victors. And I mean, literally, I said it. If attack is your comfortable side and you get that ball rolling, it can be hard to shut down. And that might be what Secret Champs is letting Herbaxi do. So they definitely need to rethink what's happening here. This round might not be an option because they are going to be on this save buy, unless Distorted. They are kind of messing around here with the Bulldogs. So if it can bite back, then that might be the hero play that we need to get them on the board. For now, though, once again, a change of pace, a change of strategy here coming out from Herbaxi. We haven't seen the same thing twice. We have seen a difference, though, from Secret Champs. Look, a 5-person stack towards the A site. And I wouldn't say it's an incorrect read other than Spike hanging out towards tiles, but there are people at least kind of testing the waters here. Amen. You can see Divine Punishment here. God's Punishment searching, trying to get some information off of that 0 point from the KO, from Zash on the other side of the map. And what's interesting here is Spike, after making that contact tiles, is actually rotating back towards A, rotating possibly towards the belly of the beast here, especially if this Killjoy, if this Jet, in fact, try to go for a tree execute where all that Killjoy utility is. Looks like Aldron's gonna be what tries off of this amazing fragment to force Dagger off the angle. Molecule, though, solid utility usage to deny that space, and now it's been a misread. Look, the entirety of the team is rotating off of this site, leaving the Killjoy, leaving only Rex here, and as the utility is exposed, they realize their mistake and try to rotate back in a mad frenzy. Distorted, like I said, that hero weapon, though, good for 2, and now Rex as well trying to provide some crossfire to keep them alive. And suddenly Disordered with a third might bring that possibility of the Thrifty in to favor for their team. Cryo as well will be the last to fall from Dagger, getting that weapon upgrade in Tree. And like I said, that Thrifty off of the hero play, off the hero weapon, will change the momentum in their favor and even bring now the double null command into the equation going into this 5th round to see if, you know, Secret Champs can keep up momentum, continue to close this gap, or if it will be just another rifle round won by Habaxi. Either way though, solid reads from both sides. Specifically, I want to say, you know, the gamble stack out the gate from Secret Champs, and then although they almost over-rotated incorrectly, they immediately came back as soon as the communication from Rex came through. Now though, once again, quick out the gate. First blood already drawn, a 1-for-1 trade as they are full sprinting into the site off of this null command, and even Zash is gonna find Carnage through the wall bangs. Disorder though, yet again, the hero that Secret Champs needs can fight back to suddenly put Zash, the only person who made it their way onto site, in a 1v2 situation. They do at least have the spike. They will at least be able to get the plant down since nobody's in the position to deny. It looks like they are playing this hand in hand. I'm just gonna have to be that usual usage on point, but the flash doesn't connect, and the double swing is good for Disorded's third, and the second round on the board for Secret Champs. All right, we're just vibing to the taking away music, you know, just giving them a chance to breathe. All right, either way, I want to point out there that that was a big ultimate used by Habaxi to try and secure their 4th that fell short, versus now on the side of Secret Champs, they have 3 more big ultimates to work with. They have the Blaze Drum, they have the Hunter Tree to deny space or deny a plant, and they even have the null command for potential retake or a potential stall factor for an initial site take if they try to be an aggressive out the gate team yet again. I do want to point out though, at least Kitty Glamour has their lockdown online, which it does look like is why they might be headed towards this B site. They might be going for this B split out the gate, gonna try and destroy this Killjoy utility mid, off of the recon bolt, maybe gonna challenge Tree. It's hard to say, but Cryo is leading the charge nonetheless off of this Sova utility, off of this Owl drone that is completely actually cleared out Marcus. You can see Cryo here, just taking the space, not much care in the world. And that paranoia is kind of interesting. It doesn't really have anybody to capitalize off of it, but it's more of a scare tactic, and you can see it's kind of worked. It's kind of stalled now Cryo and Crocus in their footsteps temporarily. Now though, as the dark covers regenerate and go out, they will continue this escapade into the B site. The crunch coming through as that Owl drone is late coming out from Achilles and Spawn, and it will be now the crossfire from Rex and Molecule to get a 1-for-1 trade, so we're even at 4-on-4, and now the flank is starting to come through, so they're trying to provide a pinch of their own on the side of Secret Champs, but Habaxi says that is not going to happen. Here is a lockdown, but here is the response, the Hunt History out of Achilles to get that out of the picture, and that means now will be a 3-on-3 as the Nile comes through. 2 more ultimates though now used. No command from the shadows. And here it comes. 3v3 even. But on Death's Door, Disordered here so low. It's actually gonna be Kitty Glamour to draw for blood in the retake attempt. And it's Kitty Glamour to continue their carnage. Zash though finishes things out, securing a 4th for their team, of 4th for Habaxi to firmly keep themselves in the lead here. And it does look like, you know, that the economy from that round, or at least the effects on the economy from that round, for Secret Champs is going to be detrimental, but they will be able to at least force up this round. You're going to see that glass cannon operator from Dagger for the first time in this game, but we do have Rex and Molecule with that light shield as collateral. I mean, the thing is though, because of this back and forth, I mean, Habaxi's economy hasn't run away either. I mean, Cryo here quite literally has the light shield as well and $0. So if they lose this round, they'll either have to force up with other individuals' money, or they're just gonna have to be forced to save. Either way, once again, a momentum shift, but it is a pinch attempt again, this time towards the A site instead of B, and it's an incorrect read this time. The Killjoy has played Tree before, but they are mid instead, so Tree is just left uncontested here. So Zash is gonna steamroll their way into Disordered. Molecule left unchecked though, and is able to get out safely with that from the shadows, group up with their team for the 4v4 retake attempt. They've given so much time over to Habaxi to set up these post-plant positionings. And I mean, you don't really have any tools to get back into this, especially when you have an operator in hand that gets shut out immediately by Kitty Glamour, who they had just popped their knives. Their only real option to get back into this site now gone. A numbers advantage with that as well. First layer of utility coming out to deny any retake attempts. Achilles, though, even in the playing field temporarily. Once again, even back out by Molecule, and they've made their way out of the site. They've isolated these fights and know where the last player is. It's not panic for Kitty Glamour, though, as the dark cover goes out. They are sticking this. Only 20 HP. Rex is just all the way through, and not only does the molly, but the spray connect. And Kitty Glamour with the 3K collects, providing that late support from Tree to bring their team on to 5. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty hopeful there for Secret Champs. They did a great job of getting their way into the site, isolating these fights. And ultimately, it was just, I think, a matter of Molecule losing that fight against Kitty Glamour. And I feel like if maybe they played in the dark cover with their teammate, they might have been able to buy a little bit more time. Or if they took the fight together, they had plenty of time. That spike had just been planted, so they could have gotten that 1-for-1 trade. They might have had a miscomm about how low Kitty Glamour was, but either way, they win that fight tenfold. Now, though, being on that econ round, like I said, econ may shatter. They're trying to get dicey here. They're trying to bring out some interesting strategies. The Dagger's gonna be punished for it immediately out the gate. So is Achilles, though. B main, as they were trying to get that pinch, trying to play to that distraction. So now it is going to be a 5v3 retake, since it looks like B is uncontested. And I mean, Discord is at 5 HP. They are searching for what they can here, and I don't know if they're going to find much for now. Like I said, obviously that B site empty, so Spike will go down. Molecule, though, in the meantime, is able to find one in mid, able to get that weapon, so might be able to go on a hero run here, going through Garage. Their first attempt, though, will be this fight against Cryo, which they win, as their other teammates are trying to find an entry as well. Rex here does not have the timing right, as God's Punishment will swing. And knowing that Molecule has collected this weapon, you can see them not searching for fights, not kind of over-aggressing, which I respect here. And it looks like time is, in fact, running out here. They might be playing for exits, and that's what Molecule will be granted in terms of a third. So it's not the cleanest eco round, or, you know, gun advantage round for Habaxi, but it gets the job done. It secures them at least a tied score, pulling on to 6 in this half, but I do not expect them to stop here. We're back to rifles on rifles. They have the null command back online, and I think what we're going to see is a null command early at the gate to get them onto a site, which, if that's the case, then Rex does have the lockdown for a possible retake attempt. And I think what, for me, this hinges on is Distorted being able to stay alive long enough or deny a site take initially, because that's where they found the most success. I mean, Distorted is at the top of the leaderboard for them, 9-5, only contested by Kitty Glamour's 11-4. And if they die out the gate, it seems like the round is almost lost by Secret Champs. And it looks like I am psychic, as that null command has, in fact, come out right out the gate. And I mean, look, like I said, they're trying to keep tree control. They're trying to keep this lockdown positioning open, and they're just giving this site over to Baxi, knowing that they can play a 5-on-5 retake for the first time with full rifles in this game. And I think they've realized this. That's why this door has now been broken. They might be getting ready to contest with the shock darts, and it will land directly, but I think they have a second. They do, and it's destroyed. And suddenly their retake attempt is shattered. They're aggressing up heaven, but Disordered is ready for it. How, though, do you retake when Dagger, your key duelist, has an operator? And now, I didn't even realize, but the attackers got their lockdown online during the entry. Dagger, though, knows who the last player is granted one operator shot. They're sticking it through the lockdown, and suddenly Rex is able to get it seconds before that lockdown comes in place. Do they have the defuse, though? The clock is ticking. They get off of it! And there's less than a second left, but an ult orb much needed now to put Achilles at 6 out of 8. And that's a third round on the board. The chance to time things up. 6-6, not necessarily gone from Secret Champ's mind just yet. I mean, beautiful lockdown usage from both teams, but a beautiful Sova utility specifically from Crocus there to break the lockdown, kind of stall at least to keep things in their favor for as long as they could. It ultimately was just that deep peak coming out from, I want to say it was Disaster Crocus in a main that got offed pretty easily by Dagger, leaving Kitty Glamour in that kind of unfortunate situation with that gap in hell for the rest of the team to hide on Secret Champ's side. Either way, though, Economy's still flowing. Cryo even bring the Bladestorm online, so they'll probably use that in the late round, unless the rest of their team can kind of already win out the round for them. I mean, you can already see God's Punishment getting that first blood already shutting down. For now, though, does look like a change of pace yet again, coming out from Habaxi. They started out slow, but I mean, who's not taking it slow? It's Molecule trying to fight back, takes out the Bladestorm from this round, takes out their duelist, even things back up to a 4-on-4. So both Jets now gone with no sights taken. And it looks like the read might be correct that this is about to be a B execute. You can see that utility coming through, the recon bolt, the frag grenade, both to solve, but somehow with the dark cover, Crocus is able to mow down these players on site. Zash as well. So now it's gonna be a 2v4. And Sight and Plant will come through. And once again, just like round one, look who is late to the party. Look who has been lurking, trying to find openings to Divine Punishment. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to go for again. Playing here now with his Killjoy in Garage. Trying to play the flank. Trying to make sure that nobody is slipping through the cracks now. I mean, it's 6-3. 2v4. You don't have many chances here. And I think that's what Distorted and Molecule know. Playing more for exit, but playing for an opportunity to possibly slip in through. And I think that's exactly why we see Molecule playing so close to spawn. They're trying to save this operator potentially. And I think they realize that might not be an option anymore because look who's coming barreling towards them. Both members with a quick scope for both, and Molecule maybe should be the one to pick up the operator considering they've gotten more kills in just that round with it than Dagger has the entire game. And I mean, Molecule, don't hit that back to Dagger. You hold on to that, bro. No. I mean, even the other team saying nice shots. I mean, that was quick scope to quick scope back to back, even though it's more just economy keeping them in check here, forcing Habaxi into light shields, while the rest of their team will force up yet again. Minus Rex, who has to opt for the Eagle full shield, maybe gonna wait for their teammate to get a weapon for them. Either way, though, 7-3, that does secure a lead in favor of Habaxi before they go into their defensive half. For now, though, does look like off this one-way, Molecule and Disordered trying to search for this first blood, trying to get aggressive. On the other side of the map, though, likewise, that aggression is masked by Dagger here. Trying to take this angle with the operator, trying to finish Kitty Glamour, and they will, and the tailwind out is as good as well, so they didn't get caught out by that 0 point. So that's finally a first blood in their favor. Dagger might have heard me say that Molecule got more kills in a round and are now trying to get their op kills up. Either way, the importance of that kill is not only the fact that now the lurk is taken out, but now they don't have that post-plant utility. And now I didn't even realize that Cryo has had an operator of their own, but it's quickly shut down after they get one, taking out Dagger in the crossfire. So it will now be this 4v2. With no sight taken, no real hopes, hopefully, as Zash as well might be about to take a fight against Molecule mid. Molecule though ready for it. Over the box, under the box. Try to step away, but it doesn't connect, and in fact will cost them their life. So Habaxi here, not done fighting. Now they've finally grouped up. We're gonna try and find what part of the map is light for these defenders. I wonder if they heard the jump out from Disordered. It doesn't seem like Disordered really cares here. Gonna maybe concede the space. Maybe try not to grant these 1v1s, but Achilles even granted the 1v1, says I will win these. Able to take Crocus out, now leaving Dash with no time, no life. And that's a 4th on the board for Secret Champs, keeping their chances alive in this map, considering, like we said, attack is their stronger half on this map. So 7-5 might be what they're hoping for. Might be like, okay, this is good for us in our defensive half. I mean, either way, this round definitely will be interesting. Both Hunter's Furies online, both from the Shadows online, and we know both of these players have been pivotal for their teams. I mean, Molecule especially in terms of keeping Habaxi's economy in check, and Divine Punishment with those lurks as well, quite literally being that punishment to any kind of faults in the defensive half for Secret Champs. So I'm expecting to see those, but out the gate here once again, looks like some W key action actually, and they might be awarded the spike if they can win this fight against Divine Punishment, and that's exactly what might happen off of this Hunter's Fury. Zash though is not stopping here. Will they realize that the cavalry has arrived through tree? Not quite yet. So now suddenly Disordered is alone trying to hold down the spike, but they're about to run into Crocus here. So the pinch comes through, they are left on an island. So spike recovered, weapon upgrade secured as well for Crocus. Rex now has the timing right, but the shot's not there, leaving Achilles in the 1v4. Does have an Assury to try and deny the plant temporarily, but looking that shut down quite literally by the Null Command. This last round, they know they can use it. So it will have to be a 1v4, the 1v3 now, as they were able to find Cryo punishing that over-aggression with the Judge. They have no utility, no information now. Full kit back online at least now that the Null Command has expired.
Area.
So we'll help them hopefully isolate some fights. Starting with Kitty Glamour. Flashes out, Crocus is the one to swing. Shock Darts as well will whittle them down to 39 HP. 10 bullets left. Nose. Flash though. And it's all about timing here. And Kitty Glamour is just playing with their food. Playing around for that 8-4 swarm grenades gonna make sure nothing can come through. And it's the pop and sling to secure them the 8-4 lead and the 15-7 dominance in terms of their KDA. And I mean, I think literally what we said in the pregame is coming true so far. Whoever started on the attacker was able to get that momentum built up pretty quick out the gate. And 8-4, I mean, that's a solid lead, but not impossible to come back from, especially now that Secret Champs is on their more comfortable side. And I mean, we saw like such a deep playbook, I would say, out of Habaxi here. I mean, like I said, on their attack, they were trying different things almost every single round, changing the momentum on a dime. And I'm hoping that Habaxi is able to kind of have that same kind of read, that same kind of pivot out the gate on their defensive half if they want to keep their lead. For now, though, does look like it's going to be a fast hit onto the less stacked site, considering Habaxi is playing them out with this A main aggression. And it's going to be up to Kitty Glamour all alone on site with, you know, backside maybe. Zash there as well. Pressure will only spot them out though, so they might not be able to check Boathouse. I think they will clear it together. No casualties, and suddenly a flick from Disordered as well. Off of the spike tap. Insane that nobody was holding it for their team. But still, flawless potential online. They know the last player is. Achilles looking to close it out. And it'll actually be Disordered with a third. Starting to feel that confidence flowing through their veins. 5th on the board. Likely a 6th to come through as well. So as long as they can win that bonus and maybe that rifle follow-up, there's a chance at starting to tie things up really early out the gate here. Now that each team has won their respective pistol on their attack side, could be headed, you know, for those, I would say the mirror score line, but swapped now that the sides have been swapped as well. For now, though, it does look like it's interesting here. We saw, obviously, last after that Kitty Glamour was the one to lurk a lot. Rex as well, now kind of following in their footsteps. But it's interesting that Cryo is also over there, trying to punish any maybe like pistol round aggression, a pistol round push out that will not come, because it's in fact a 4-person stack towards the A site for Habaxi. And that's where Spike is currently headed right now. And we saw this work out on the flip side for the for Secret Champs when they were on the defense. So let's see if it happens again. 0 point. Gonna get that information. Gonna keep the players from rotating off this site. But in the meantime, trying to collect information mid. Dagger will be able to cut some loose ends off. Able to take out that tree player. Now there's only 3 on the site. Information though gathered off of that flash point as well. Kitty Glamour gonna confirm that there is at least a presence outside of B. Doesn't able to pull out any rotations though, because a full-on war is happening A. They're able to get a shorty kill though, but no weapon collected. Forced to fall back with only 60 HP. Like I said, Spike has been rotating over to the B in the meantime, where Kitty Glamour is prepared though to take these fights, and in fact prepared to isolate Spike in garage.
30 seconds
Better weapons
left.
though. Rex gonna win that fight. Gonna try and now collect the Spike. You know where Zash is. Dagger though. I want to take the 1v1 now that Spike has in fact been recollected, and knowing how low Rex is from that 145.
Spike
Crocus
planted.
is gonna bring in the shock dart lighthouse. Is gonna
Last
potentially
player standing.
find them. No. Rex escaped with their life, and Molecule, the backstab from that late lurk, will ensure that the 6-8 is in fact established. Now though, if you are Habaxi, you know that you don't want to let this lead slip away, which is interesting. I think that's why we're seeing an interesting, I mean, this is their buy, but it's interesting to me that Cryo is opting for the Marshall. It makes me think that they're about to go for an operator in the next round, win or lose. Either way though, like I said, a solid bonus come out, so a lot of weapons on the side of of Secret Chips to ensure that they have a chance of winning this round. And slow out the gate at first, but now rotation, maybe setting up for a rush play into B. So far, no aggression, no information conceded, no contact made. Pairing way out to clear out the corner. Help Dagger get into the site off the tailwind, off the cloudburst to get the door closed. The spray's coming in though from CT out of the dark cover. Won't quite connect, but now Zash is ready to fight their way back into the site immediately, trying not to give any time over to Secret Champs to set up these post-plane positions, to set up these crossfires. Like I said, Cryo is in, Achilles as well. Might have the worst weapon, but has the better aim, finds Zash. And suddenly, although the re-entries are coming in hot, they are losing these fights, and the site is being held down. Lock and key. Nobody getting in so far. It's looking like a Thrifty is coming through, and I mean, even this early into the round, they're opting for a save. They know they have the lead. They know next round if they have these 3 rifles, they might be able to keep the lead instead of letting it slip away, instead of letting it become a tied 8-8 scoreline. I think that's exactly what Secret Champs has realized now. The troop headed towards spawn where nobody actually is, in fact, waiting. And it's perfect for them. A perfect round. I mean, a flawless obviously coming out here. Take all their weapons, and I mean, like I said, that was a pseudo Thrifty. Like, they were using their bonus weapons there. So that's a huge round for them and sets them up for success here. Now that you can see that, I mean, Zash has been forced into the deagle. There is that glass cannon I said from Cryo, but Kitty Glamour's also, like, there's light shields across the board for Habaxi here versus, like I said, I mean, it's interesting here. Molecule and Rex both opting to bring the Bulldog back again. They know they have time, so they're not going to waste their economy that they built up on a gamble win. Or they're that confident in their abilities to convert even with these worse weapons. Either way, though, they started on B, but reading into that aggression from Kitty Glamour and Crocus, they've quickly pivoted to this A site where equally Cryo and Zash are now waiting. Entry, though, Tailwind in onto this box is insane. Will give them the angle potentially off of God's Punishment if they get the timing right. But Operator Tree wasn't able to deny any space here. Shock darts will come out, and it's almost going to cost the life of Achilles. They'll escape for now, though, to live another day, to fight another battle for their team for this post plant. Either way, though, no ultimates on the board. How do you start getting into this site? Looks like the answer is the double initiator. You still confirm positioning, but they will lose the fight against Dagger. They're pinned against the wall, though, here. 10 HP, trying not to get wall banged, and so far they bobbed and weaved, but will not be able to win the fight. It's actually Molecule, the hero player here on Generator, that will force yet again Habaxi to run away to save with their tail between their legs. The Operator for Cryo more important than these exit frags. And just like that, although the momentum, although the score was in favor of Habaxi, we are now tied back at 8-8. Although Secret Champs can't win it all, they may be the Kingslayers that deny Habaxi the opportunity to go on that first place run that they need if they want a chance at tying things with Dancers. If they want a chance of pulling ahead based on their performance, based on the statistics for the past few weeks. Either way, though, looks like Habaxi, just like they were on their attack, changing their play every round. They're trying to crack this nut that is Secret Champs defense, or sorry, attack, sorry. And it looks like their solution this round is to get aggressive B-main. I mean, the Owl Drone's gonna get information that there's at least 3 players. The Operator as well gonna push out, but it will find nothing. Yet again, reposition might be good though, but it'll be spotted out by the Owl Drone and even the pre-fire from Dagger. And the things are looking grim. The null command's even online if they want to use it from Distorted. I mean, I don't even think they need to at this point. Other than maybe the fact that Crocus is backside, ready to use this utility as soon as Zash makes contact, as soon as they give that comm. I don't know if it will ever come though. I mean, there it is. The 0 point will confirm that only 2 were there. While the rest of the team, the rest of Secret Champs has been exploring elsewhere. And you can see how deep. Molecule has made their way towards tree. That alarm bot being so deep in doorway, they could slip through spawn if they wanted to. Or they might even get the timing here off the Killjoy. Either way, it's going to be a huge distraction as the rest of the team, Skirmish, makes their way out of this B site. They will have to overcome, though. I was going to say, Dagger and Zash and Kitty Glimmer on site, who so far are alive and swinging. Finally eliminated, but the damage has been done and capitalized upon, evening things back out to a 2-on-2. Now the utility comes out just to play time, just to deny. Face first, flash, second flash. Katie Glamour still gets the job done, winning the fight. They are really low here though, so I don't like the 1v1s that they're taking, but it doesn't matter. God's punishment, divine punishment. Able to win the round nonetheless and pull their team back into the lead that they had previously let slip away. Even more so though, they're able to get the operator back for their team to keep it in their defensive arsenal, to keep it in their strategy. And I mean, although they missed their time there, maybe even got an unfortunate shot through the smoke, it'll be interesting to see if where they position it this round. Looks like the answer is going to be A main, which we know, I mean, that Molecule has liked to challenge pretty early on, so it may be beneficial for them, but only time will tell as the rest of the forces are starting on tiles. But it looks like they might be going for kind of a tree push here. You can see, I mean, the 0 point setting them up for that, forcing that Kitty Glamour and God's Punishment out of that position. But it will push them back into mid, which is where the real efforts were actually designated for. Dagger effortlessly taking space here with the Blade Storm. It looks like almost like a controlled chaos, though. I mean, yes, they're letting them slip through these mid positions, through these extremities, but they're controlling the places that matter here. I mean, look, Cryo, Red, and now the support from Rex as well coming through. A minute on the clock, but Achilles trying to fight their way at least onto a site. That's exactly what they'll do. Door broken. That could spell disaster for them. I mean, unless Dagger able to stop the bleeding. What if I'm with the Bucky of all things, get the weapon upgrade? But like I said, both of them are so low. Fragment not only finishes them off, now they have to face a lockdown. And Euphis and Kitty Glamour, they hit those shots 9 times out of 10, a third on the round, double digits for her backseat. And once again, operator collected and handed over to Cryo. I mean, not only do they get the operator, but now Blazestorm's online as well, so they have an insurance policy to fall back on. Versus only that from the shadows from Molecule is an option, which I guess could be an insurance policy in itself in case they need to make a quick rotate. But so far, I guess it seems like the site takes haven't been an issue. It's almost like they win them pretty easily, but then the retakes are just too strong, too coordinated, too planned to a T from Habaxi. Now though, Habaxi changing something up. They're putting God's Punishment in the line of fire, relying on that Killjoy utility if they do in fact fall. This plan may be spoiled outright though by this Owl Drone, unless, here it is, like I said, Kitty Glamour is able to play that distractor. The Paranoia is going to hit everybody, but with the pre-fire too strong, Distorted and able to ensure their team does not fall, to ensure this attempt does not fall to shambles. And although two players are such low HP, numbers advantage still in their favor nonetheless, and Dagger's not done hunting even with 14 HP on the line. And I mean, Spike just now getting planted, but like I said, Habaxi not afraid to save, not afraid to play the late game, especially since they have this 2-round advantage. I mean, you can already see opting to play the save. My question now will be, is obviously you're down 2 rounds. You obviously don't have the best economy in the world. I mean, Achilles at 650, Disordered at 400 before this round. Do you go hunting for these players, especially when Molecule, especially when Dagger is so low? For now, it does look like they are just headed towards spawn, making sure nobody's playing for exit picks. While the lone hunter, Disordered, their top frag, goes hunting for these weapons, able to get a wall being shot through Zash, but that's all they will bite for. And the 9th on the round, nonetheless, for Secret Champs. No weapons stolen from that save, so they will have an opportunity to run it back to further establish their lead to 11. Just toying with this 2-round gap time and time again after that 8 had been established. For now, though, it does look like their prediction is that this is going to be a B-site execute. with Spike leaning towards the A site. It might be incorrect, but they might be going towards that like mid-control pinch that they're used to. I mean, two players about to peek top mid. I mean, the dark cover as well in position to establish a mid-control since Dagger and Rex started. It's almost like they expected a push out. It's almost like they expected aggression out with the garage gate, but it's actually going to come from a main instead. Kitty Glamour gonna completely drop Achilles out of the gate, so that's some of the information gone. But the Odin making its first debut for Crocus will connect and not gonna find any kills, but does get the ping damage out. Cryo as well, caught with the shorty, no bullets, allowing the site to finally get opened up. But it is a 3v3 and they are not done fighting. Specifically, Dagger trapped in the corner with the fragment. Updraft does not connect. And so it will be a 3v2 retake. No command as well, expended. They want to make sure this 11th is secured and don't know where these players are. Flashpoint good, and it even gives information. Sorted though. Like I said, the hero that they need at least puts them in a 1v1 situation, at least gives them hope here at tying things back up. Time in their favor at least. But the wall bangs left and right, the ring around the Rosie with the dark cover. The read is correct. They're in the smoke, and suddenly it's a flick from Molecule. I thought that the timing and positioning was so in favor, but ultimately, once again, tied up 10-10. Ultimate's now finally online, and it will be a complete rehaul, a complete reset yet again. And I mean, these teams are showing why they both were victors, per se, in their respective weeks. Fighting for this. And right out the gate, the cacophony of ultimates being dropped into this B site, dumped into this B site. And amidst the chaos, neither team comes out on top. Still a 2v2. I mean, yes, Spike's going through, so that's a success. But it's sorted at 26 HP. Is it really a win? We will have to wait and see. I mean, the lockdown as well, trying to keep things in their favor. The updraft, though, with the Blade Storm. No more blades, though, actually. Now they're going to be forced to respect the timing of this lockdown. And I think most of this round is going to come down to Rex here. Haven't really had their key moments to shine, but this could be it. Knowing how low Disordered is, knowing that they have to play contact off of them.
Player standing.
I mean, I may be stand corrected. Each of them finding one apiece here. And suddenly, the tables have turned, the lead back in favor of Secret Champs. They are not done fighting to upset, fighting to claim glory, I should say, since, you know, prize pool leaderboard standings aren't on the line. They just want to be the one to win it all and say, we won 2 out of the 4 weeks, even if we don't get first overall. Either way, though, a correct read potentially coming out from Baxter here. I mean, God's Punishment set up with the Paranoia. 3 people in the line of fire on the Shark Dart Frag combo. Drone will split it out since the Paranoia fades, but damage is done. Look, I mean, even the Odin spam will have awarded them the first blood, and because of that, it's a mad dash into the Operator. Successfully granted by Molecule and that Bladestorm Crossfire. Paranoia of their own now to clear out tree space, grant them sight. If it isn't for the turret. Of all things from Kitty Glamour to finish them off. Recon bolts out, but I don't know if it'll quite connect because of Kitty Glamour's positioning. They've seen 2 on the site. How do they slice and dice them? So far they can't. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Achilles now. It's actually Rex.
There they are. 1 enemy remaining.
Like I said, that Odin. Crocus, too good. Isn't a 2v1. And it's ultimately Zash arriving to the site to tie things back up. Left and right. Cat and mouse.
Attack when they're suppressed. Attempt their options, they make mistakes.
Like I said, there was, I think, 4 and 3 ultimates for each team. And now we come away with 2 and 1. And,
There.
I mean, that's just insane right and now. I mean, the ults that are online, other than the From the Shadows being the outlier here, I mean, they completely contradict each other. So if you try and use one, it can completely be countered by the other. So I'm expecting to see that either in this round or neither to be used because of that. For now, though, it does look like Secret Champs going back to a pretty standard approach for a main, that Killjoy lurking, trying to exploit or read any aggression. And that is going to be pretty much what they get. B main, but A main, where the chaos is actually happening, Secret Champs has not found success. Cryo right out the gate with that operator, making it work, showing why they've saved it time and time again. Slamming the door in Secret Champs' face, forcing them to explore other avenues. And that trajectory might lead them right back into Cryo's crosshair, and it will Rex. Finally, though, they're trying to force them out. The updraft is good to avoid it, but it does put them into Disordered's grip.
Shadows, not ready.
Now a 3v4, yes, still in favor of a backstee, but they're being wasting so much utility. Now as the entry comes through, be able to make space. Now the question is, can they keep it? Hunter's Fury gone. They have to find Kitty Glamour, and they will. Tying things back up, taking that post-plant strategy off the table. The issue is, here's this Odin from Crocus. They get the recon bolt pings as well. Backstab though is strong as well. And suddenly it's a 2v1, makes it a 1v1. Molecule knows where Crocus is. The wall bangs though. The close angle, the pre-fire doesn't align. And it's a clutch for match point. Plenty of time. They are going to go get that operator and then get back for the defuse. And that will be match point for Habaxty. Question is, like I said, this has been a cycle of win-lose for Habaxty. So can they finally end it? Can they finally pull ahead and win it? Win the map and keep their chances alive in the Blue Skirmish August series? They have the lockdown online. Nothing really to counter it as well from Secret Champs. I mean, 4 off from the null command. Obviously, Achilles really far off from Thunder's Fury since they just used it. So my expectation here is that they're going to play post-player. They're going to play for that retake. They're going to try and keep Kitty Glamour alive. Otherwise, though, it does look it's going to be a fast fight out the gate. Paranoia, shock darts, fragment, all to deny space, and it has done so successfully. I mean, even look, Zap is pushed up, trying to get this orb control. Destroys the turret, gets the orb potentially if they don't push out this dark cover. But they are not conceding that space, and it won't cost them their life because of the crossfire from Crocus. It's too strong. It connects. In the meantime, look, like I said, that gamble paid off. Gets the null command online only temporarily as they now fall. Wallbang comes through as well as the null command, knowing that these players are so low. It only takes 1 to connect. And this looks like it might be the beginning of the end. Although Dash will fall, numbers advantage still in favor. 3v1 and 5 HP in a dream for Disordered. They've gotten clutches time and time again. They find the first. These walls are paper thin. They make any noise. That Odin will shred them to pieces. Will shred their chances at glory to do. They don't even have Spike here. With only 30 seconds left. They have to run. They have to make noise. They don't even know. They might not even check this corner. And I think this is it. Yeah, knife out. Kitty Glamour, top of the leaderboard, the one to end it all. 25-16. They keep their chances at first place alive. They keep their run alive. And I can't wait to see if it will be Dancers versus Abaxi in the next round, if that round is finished. But nonetheless, an amazing showing out of both teams. I mean, look, Disordered, 27-15. They might have lost, but still, they carried their team as far as they could in this event. And I mean, you got to appreciate it just for that fact. Either way, though, I mean, both teams showed why they're victors and why this map is so good for them. And I wasn't rooting for either one. Both of them would have been great storylines, but I am happy to see that Backstreet at least has a chance to fight for a different outcome for the leaderboard overall, versus it being more of a Kingslayer mission for Secret Champs. Either way, though, like I said, we are going to take a quick break because we have to wait for our other matches to finish to see who Habaxi's opponents will be next, to see if they can keep their dreams at first place alive. Either way, though, like I said, stick around and we will be back shortly. Hello, hello, and welcome back to Blue Skirmish Week 4, where we have now advanced to our semi-finals matchup number 2. Off stream will be Dancers versus Abaxi, another kind of important first versus second place matchup. But for now, we are going to Esports Organization versus Unity Esports, which is also a pretty important matchup because it could determine who our fourth place victor is. Currently, Esports Organization is at 140 points, trailing Black Air Force Energy has 180. But since Black Air Force Energy was knocked out in the first round, there is a chance for Esports Organization, if they win this and continue a run into first or second place, to upset them and take fourth place out from under them. For now, though, like I said, they have to face the opponent in front of them, which is a newcomer here, Unity Esports, who will be starting out on the attack on Pearl. And you can already see our agent select coming through here. And it looks like we're seeing a double duelist on the side of the defenders, on the side of Esports Organization, which is definitely, I feel like, something that's become more mainstream, especially like this becoming a map where Phoenix, I don't want to say it's starting to join the meta, but it's definitely cropped up in the agent picks. You know, it takes a lot of kind of pressure off your initial duelist, off of, in this case, Field of Pain. And that run it back is just so useful, especially on that A site in that corner, for getting information, for getting kind of a second attempt at an entry on to the site. Otherwise, on the opposing side, on the attackers for Unity Esports, it looks like they're messing around with the potential double initiator composition, which leads me to believe that Clone would go for a Sentinel, but maybe they'll be one of those teams that goes for no Sentinel, double controller. We will have to wait and see, because they are keeping us in the unknown. They are keeping us waiting and wondering. But I think they do have a Jet and Astro, so that will be a matchup from the defenders. That, or we may be having a reload here, because they didn't choose an agent. They might have disconnected, or having some issues. So we will be going back into agent select to see if anything changes. But either way, like we were talking about when we went into agent select, or when we were doing map select, like map bans, we were like, interesting that they banned Ascent so early out the gate on the side of Esports Org, which is refreshing to see, because we usually see a lot of mirror comps, a lot of Ascents. So I'm happy we're going to Pearl, where there are still things that kind of become really interesting in terms of keeping that connector control, in terms of how the rotations occur, and it'll be interesting to see how they play around with that. For now, though, it does look like I was right. We had somebody that kind of lost interconnect connection, so they will be reloading in here very shortly. But either way, like I said, we can go back to the points. But essentially, like I said, Black Air Force Energy is currently in 4th place with 180. They will be ending the tournament with 235 points. So that means Esports Organization is currently at 140. So that means they need 100 points. So they need first place this week if they want to overtake Black Air Force Energy and take 4th place. Because if they get 2nd place, they only get 90 points. So they will be 5 points away from overtaking them, which would be devastating. It is a tall bill to fill with teams like Dancers, with teams like Habaxty still in the mix. But I mean, this team has been here for many, many weeks and have been a very consistent team. So if there's any week to do it, any week to show that they have grown, to show what they have learned, it would be now, especially if they want a piece of that prize pool. On the other side of things, like I said, Dancers versus Habaxty right now is going on, where Habaxty needs to win this. And then, once they win it, it's out of their hands. Dancers will go to that 3rd and 4th place matchup, where if Dancers wins 3rd place, they get 1st. If they get 4th place, Habaxty will have a chance at getting 1st, because it'll go to substats like ACS, like KDA, because the players will be tied. Or the teams will be tied in terms of the points and how they line up week to week, which is interesting, right? I mean, if Habaxty gets 1st twice, that means they will have competed 2 weeks, 1st place both weeks they competed, versus Dancers has consistently gotten 2nd place. They've never been able to step out of that, but because of that, they've been so consistent in playing and like high ranking each week. They've been able to build up those points. So it shows that consistency, even if you aren't the best team, can still get you a solid kind of chunk of that prize pool if you are kind of debating or trying to find a team for Blue Skirmish for future series. Either way, though, it does look like it was a valid E1 error, so they are now back in, and we will be jumping back into agent select. So that question of if Chloe, our disconnect, was going to play a Sentinel will hopefully be answered sooner rather than later. So we jump back in. We'll see probably the defenders locking in the same thing that they had, I would hope. Otherwise, though, it's interesting. It looks like Clone is the one having the fade. And it looks like they might be going for an unconventional triple initiator. And that's exactly what they're locking in. And I mean, this is really interesting. Not only because it means that it's going to be a very attack-sided and they're starting out on the attack, but they have double information initiator with the Sky and the fade. And then that breach will be that flash, a double flash, and that kind of just heavy util initiator for making space and getting their way onto a site. It does scare me a little bit when it comes to the second half of this potential map, where they will be on the defensive side, because they will have to play really aggro if they want to keep space or just purely win their duels. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? Because they are starting out on the attack. They're starting out where this is favored. And if they get enough momentum, I mean, if you 9-3, if you 10-2, 11-1, then you don't have to win that many rounds, obviously, on your defensive half. Just a few where you get lucky. Either way, though, no errors here, no DCs. We are jumping into the game. And we will see how it goes. We'll see, you know, if esports organizations' dream of getting 4th place will stay alive, or if once again Unity Esports, much like Secret Champs, can play spoiler and take out one of the top 5 going into this week. Either way, right out the gate, it does look like Spike is leaning towards the B site for our attackers for Unity Esports, while on the flip side, it's more of a default approach. You know, right now we have 2 towards A, 1 towards kind of connector, 2 headed towards the B site for esports organization. Either way, silence while the teams plan, while the teams stew over what they would like to open up this game with. And although, like I said, Spike is leaning towards the B side, it's interesting that the Sky is already going to be prodding mid, and the Astra is already trying to fight here A main. And we can already see as well that Phoenix ready to take this fight. Looks like they were trying to get the orb, and it looks like they were able to get it. In fact, going to try and charge up that running back pretty early on. Otherwise, on the other side of the map, where Spike, like I said, is leaning, see Hezekiah already pushing up to the exterior, pushing up to the bounds of this alarm bot, which will pull the rotation out of Link from Scanlan temporarily, as they want to double check that entry hasn't come through. Nice duo action here. Hezekiah makes their way to screens off of Flashpoint from the breach, but it doesn't connect. So no space gain, just utility use from both sides. Alarm bot, Flashpoint, both out of the equation. And it seems like they thought they had pulled enough rotations to now head towards A with the Spike. But as soon as that contact, as soon as that control is relinquished, look at the mad dash towards A. Not just Scanlan, but even the people that have rotated back over. And now they leave the Killjoy alone with less utility on that site, which is exactly what it looks like Unity Esports wanted. They are re-aggressing here with that hunt, as well as spotting out Proto, and like they're gonna be alone here with the full weight of the team on their shoulders. And because of that, the aggression into Link is so powerful, but it's 1-for-1 trades, and actually Scanlan coming out on top with Biscu now on an island. This leaves Kashik in a 1v3. Spike getting stuck. Pings are going through. They win one, but it's ultimately traded. And the first round will go in favor of the defenders, will go in favor of esports organization. I mean, beautiful, I would say, rotations. Number one, the read over the aggression on to B. I would say it was almost an over rotation, considering they let the site and the reaggress was coming through. But the response late round was equally as impressive. Croto able to stay alive just long enough for the people to come back to win that fight on Link, to reflood into the site. But I do also want to point out that plant was not in the ideal location on the side of Unity Esports. It definitely favored the defenders on their retake attempt. So maybe if they can get a more coordinated post plant, they might have a way to fight back early on and start kind of ensuring that they don't run away with this on their defensive half, considering, like I said, their comp's pretty attack-sided, so this is definitely where they need to perform. Anyway, though, knowing they have the worst weapons, they're taking an unconventional route, that being art, but it will be read and shut down immediately at the gate by Field of Pain temporarily, as Rylox will trade it back, as well as getting some pings out, punishing that Trailblazer from Bubs. For now, though, they're holding, waiting for some over-aggression, waiting for a mistake or a slip-up, which might be what comes out of Scanlan here. Barely missing the angle. They don't check Hezekiah. They're playing with fire, and they will burn because of it. weapon should get collected, and in fact does. And off of that, you see this dispersal across the map really quickly. 2 here going through link towards the B side. 1 gonna be trying to cut off these rotations in flowers, and that's exactly what will happen so far. But 2 swing and nobody will fall. So numbers once again in favor of the defenders, and once again this post plant location favoring the defenders. Croto able to shut it down completely, leaving Hezekiah, yes, with the big boy weapon in the round. But a lot of work still to be done. And just like that, the double fight taken, and 1 second, although a little messy, on the board for esports organization. We are going to jump into a quick tech pause, though it does look like, just to double check something. Maybe not. They're just playing with us. They want us to have a breather, which I appreciate. But either way, 2-0, it's what you expect. So now this is the round where you have rifles on the bonus weapons that were brought over. So this is a solid chance for the first point on the board for Unity Esports, especially considering they were able to find 2 people in that last round and could use it as an advantage to try and convert things. For now, though, looks like a change of strategy coming out for Unity Esports here once again. Headed towards this A site, maybe off of the Fade utility. We'll have some pressure in Art as well. This time, though, on the side of esports organization, they don't have anybody playing in connector. You can see that Killjoy, Croto, now creeping in there a little bit later, but because of that, art control has been relinquished. You can see Bubs and Scanlan have backed off. They were playing close box, now they're back site, waiting for these players to come to them, trying to take these close fights. They know they should be able to win, but that tailwind, and now Rylux with the support as well, will strip that as a possibility from them. I do like this, though. Like I said, they have such an aggressive comp. Them trying to flip the map here, trying to take deeper space, like Secret, like Flowers, is definitely the move, and it might even catch CEO off guard if Trailblazer spots them. Question is, oh, nice over the wall, out the map shots, but Flash not good enough. Curveball won't hit its mark. The backstab as well does not come through. Hezekiah almost a 6th sense that flank might happen. And it's a 4K to get the first round on the board. Our duelists starting to heat up for Unity Esports. With that 4K as well, Bladestorm will come online. All the duelists here have tools to work with run it back as well. It could either be used right at the gate for some information, maybe some early first blood action, or it could be used as a retake attempt. Either way, economy now back to I don't want to say a standstill. It's interesting. Although they will be kind of dwindling if they lose this round on this side of esports organization, they're still stacking more towards the A side, and it looks like we are going to see that early aggression potentially outside of A main. In the meantime, though, double Bladestorm from both Jets as well. So hopefully we'll see an anime battle, but for now, Scanlan's going to be the first victim here. And with that, they are going to take in stride potentially this A main control while still prodding and pressing in this doorway, forcing Croto to waste their utility, but that probably traded for Chloe's life. And because of that, the pivot into Art will be met by the run it back, like I said, from a CEO. And because of that, the distraction is enough for Croto and Feel the Pain to apply pressure and basically choke out the attackers, choke out Unity Esports into a 3-1. Beautiful util usage, both as a distraction and a closeout there to deny mid-control almost immediately out of the gate, even with Chloe falling as that first blood. Either way, no more ultimates to work with. All 3, like I said, invested into that last round. We might see some come online here in this round if they use those orbs wisely, mainly both the Cosmic Divides, maybe the Secrets from Rylux, but for now, even though they were shut down so effectively last round, they're going to try again here. Unity Esports, once again, a little bit faster this time, dedicate themselves towards the art side, where this Killjoy utility has been correctly repositioned to deny this space. And because of that, look at the repivot from A main. Missio, Can, Bubs here, ready to take this fight, this war, head on. And so far, the battle has been won by Unity Esports. Numbers capitalized upon a 2v4, and the regrowth will get Bisquick back to a suitable scoreline. Feel the Pain, though. Operated for the first time this map.
Spike planted.
Gonna be looking for some impact. He's gonna somehow be robbed of that clean shot. Maybe gonna opt to have to save it here, knowing that this 4v2 is looking possible.
standing.
Scanlan's able to hopefully try and make something of it, but ultimately as they will fall to the 1-for-1 trade, like I said, it is going to be this save attempt. Now on the side though of Unity Esports, they know they have the operator now. They know that that can be a thorn in their side, especially on a BXQ, which is why you see not one but two players, maybe even three, hunting for this player, trying to get the pinch through. They have plenty of time to work with, and it's the wallbang from Pillar. Smart to avoid the crosshair placement. And the 3-2 and the operator now taken out of the equation for this next round. With that though, both the Cosmic Divide and the Seekers I talked about potentially coming online as tools for the last round. Now in the pot, in the mix for this round. And I feel like this team so far has used these ultimates to make their way into a site. And I'm wondering if that's what they're going to do here. And if they do, then they'll be able to spot out this Killjoy and Jet are both playing aggressive tree, while, you know, once again, Masio and Bubs are playing this dynamic duo, A main, trying to farm this orb for the run it back. And so far, nobody's bit, but it's been successful in denying this space. The question is Kishik ready? So far, yes, good for 1, 2, and the third, blocking away with 5 HP. But their Sky is alive. Rylux, if they can meet up with them. Seekers as well to try and spot out these last two members. Knows one is connector. Not quite can have enough reach to know where Scanlan is rotating from, but either way, damage, like you said, done from that A-main aggression. Hezekiah as well, trying to lock down the flawless for their team. Gonna be caught with their knife out. I think they were a little skin crazy, but either way, you know where this last player is. They've planted a spike. Croto. Looking like they're not gonna opt for the save just yet. Maybe trying to cut off any loose ends of this post plant. Maybe try and stick a ninja defuse, who knows, but they have plans. On the other side though, Unity Esports not biting. Other than this with the quick jiggle peek for the shot for the tied 3-3 game. And I mean, they did all that with just the Seekers. So now going to this round where you have the Cosmic Divide, the Rolling Thunder, and the Nightfall, I cannot imagine what they'll be able to do with these to leverage and hopefully pull ahead into the lead. I do want to point out though, they have some powerful retake ultimates if they're able to avoid all of this aggression on the side of esports organization. I mean, you put a lockdown in, you put the Cosmic Divide up, you can totally stick the defuse, especially on this B site where Spike looks like it's where it's headed. In the meantime though, does look it's going to be a challenge here on mid plaza. Quite fast out the gate. For now though, even though they get the orb, they cost them their life here. Let's see what fall. The backstab though from Feel the Pain is immediate. Moving things back out to 3v3. And there it is, Hezekiah paving their way into sight. That art control established so beautifully. The 4K, especially from Feel the Pain, is what will award the Thrifty and the lead back to esports organization. I mean, the pace in there was beautiful, but ultimately, because of this composition, they don't have any sentinel utility. They didn't really have anybody dedicated to watching behind them. And Feel the Pain just took advantage of that with that fast push out from Art with Bubs. And I mean, what more could you ask for out of a Thrifty other than that selective and well-placed aggression? Now though, even more ultimates in the mixing bowl to see what is cooking. So far though, Feel the Pain once again trying to get arrested, trying to hold down, but all this utility coming in, and it will be Hex the Coil to capitalize off of that. 4 people on the assist there taking a bite. Interesting thing is the follow-up will be this B side where an Odin of all things is waiting. Nightfall will be invested, and basically will be the 1-2 punish. Rotation's finally coming through, and the spike will be dropped by Masio. Punishment for having your knife out. Ultimates traded, Cosmic Divide for run it back. Able to get the information, but not quite any picks just yet. Rylox is fighting to maintain holo control. Kashek though, finally arriving. Kashkak finally arriving. Finally finding the impact here to bring things to this 2v1 situation. Hezekiah though has spotted Scanlan. They don't know that they're behind, but they're receptive that it might be the case. So low on HP though, the Odin. Hezekiah has done it before. Can they do it again? Sio wanting to take the fight, but it's right into the crosshair of Hezekiah with another 3K to bring things back to a score 4-4 scoreline. I mean, these Jet players have already been insane. I mean, 10-5, 2 KDA, 13-6 over a 2 KDA. Like, it's a battle of the Jets at this point, in which initiator can support them better. Bubs for Field of Pain, or like Bisquick and Rylox for Ezequiel. And so far, I mean, even though Ezequiel has the higher frags, I mean, Masio's been also playing around with Bubs to kind of support and bring things to this 4-4 that we have. Now, though, once again, Ultimate's still in the mix. I mean, yes, run it back in Heisman Divide used last round. But for now, it's once again a fight and a matter of mid-control. No need to thrifty here, potentially.
Last player standing.
And it is going to crumble here. Scanlan left with a rolling tide. And I mean, Rylock's even getting the kill with the Trailblazer. I mean, that's got to make you feel good as you reclaim the lead as well. Without using any ultimates, literally just holding your ground, waiting for these players to push out and punishing them. I do feel like it was a little bit of a communication. Everybody was hyper-focused on top mid, maybe not thinking that the players were playing around with mid control this time because they've been so kind of out the gate about it, especially with Hezekiah leading the charge. But either way, it looks like they've learned from those mistakes, potentially here. Holding on more to the extremities, you can see that Killjoy utility back in place to hold down art control. Otherwise, though, I like this two-player tree. It might be the correct read, because you can see these players here in shop on the side of Unity Esports getting ready to aggress off of this Trailblazer. They know the judge is now there, which is why they're getting cold feet, and the immediate pivot back into art is just insane. Like, the reactions from this team are so fast. They're giving new opportunities for esports organization to respond, just like Hezekiah and Biscuit both finding picks. Yes, Chrono's able to fight back for one, but damage is done 4v2. Scanlan with the judge, Feel the Pain with the glass cannon operator. What can you do? Kashkek making sure this doesn't slip through the cracks, holding on to the position they were since the beginning of the round. Question is, can they challenge a judge and win? The answer is an immediate yes. I Feel the Pain, shorty for shorty, jet for jet, exchange. Well, finally kind of end the exchange is at the 6-4. Blazestorm definitely showing there, allowing them to get that momentum shift from the door denial off the judge contact into art and win all of those fights. And I feel like we haven't really seen a solid 5-person retake out of esports organization yet. I feel like it's definitely they either win and deny sites, deny space right out the gate, or it's a late round retake where it's like a 2v2 or a 3v2. And I want to see them kind of relinquish space, which it looks like is not the case here. Once again, double extremity push-up. They're taking space B main, they're taking space A main. They're trying to pinch this team, and I think they understand that because of that, the equal response from Unity Esports is just to push where there are no players. In this case, it's abusing that connector control. And although Scanlan has the information and knows they're headed towards A through art, they are the single player here, ready to defend. And we know Hezekiah, we know that these players like to push deep into Flowers, deep into Secrets, so I'm not surprised that this is exactly what they're doing again. And because of that, Scanlan will be punished. Immediately, Feel the Pain as well will fall.
Spike planted.
And just like that, Numbers of Finish has slipped away. Yes, you have the lockdown. Yes, you have the Seekers. But do you have the power to get your way back into this site? For now, the answer is no. As Hezekiah, Chloe, and Hezekiah again will find each players respectively for the flawless 7-4. They've established the lead in this half. The attack half that I said that they needed, considering this composition, is going to have a hard time on the defense potentially. So let's see now. Last round. This is the last opportunity to play all the cards you have been holding in your hand, like that Rolling Thunder, like that Cosmic Divide, and on the defender side specifically, the Lockdown, Seekers, and run it back. I mean, I'm pretty sure this Lockdown has not been used once this entire game, even though it's been online since round 3 or 4, which is insane to me, because they've been falling so early. They've been in those pivotal fragging positions that they can't really afford to protect it. For now, though, it does look like, once again, fast pressure out the gate, knowing, like what I said earlier, they either win really fast or have to play a 5-person retake. For now, though, it's Bubs here fighting for this door control, and although they hold on to it temporarily, it's quickly stripped away, then reinforced by Feel the Pain. Not done searching, though. It's Kashkek. Bring things back to a 2v2. Utility used to clear out connector temporarily. The question is, do they repivot towards A, or do they re-aggress through door? Now, both kind of being watched. Croto conscious of the fact that they might be slipping through connector. That does bring some of their utility out of range. if the pivot, if the answer is in fact to head back towards A main through top mid, they won't get that early turret information. For now, though, like you said, 45 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time to make a decision. Plenty of time to let the unknown slip into the crux of your defenders' minds. And it looks like they are, in fact, going to be re-peeking this Astra here on Link. Are, in fact, going to be challenging
30 seconds
Scanlan
left.
towards this B site. Question is, who will have the timing right? And I feel like that crossbow is just a touch too high. It was, but the flick is even. So what will be this 1v1 situation? At least the early information will allow Crota to get the rotation to come through. Has lockdown online, but looks like they're trying to beat Kashkek to the punch, trying to get up close. They know where Spike is planted because that perimeter is just barely visible, but it's gonna be a quick exchange and a quick win for Croto to establish that 7-5, at least giving them an opportunity to close the gap early at the gate. In the next half, if they win their attack-sided pistol. And I mean, beautiful round from both teams. Like I said, either that esports organization has completely denied the site take right out the gate, or they're winning in these clutch situations from hero players. Either way, new half, wiping the slate clean. And although I said, like, the attack side is favored by the composition of the 3 initiators and duelists, this is also a half that technically could be favored by esports organization as well. I mean, they have the double duelist that's can be just as aggressive, allows the duelist to lurk to make space for the team in other avenues as an insurance policy or as a backstab opportunity. And it'll be interesting to see if, you know, this Sentinel ensures them to make less mistakes than what we saw esports organization capitalizing off of when Unity was on their attack. For now, though, it does look like double utility, that grab wheel, that hand's gonna deny any space gain. Other than Hezekiah still able to open up with the first blood before losing their life, getting the 4-on-4 trade back in their favor, considering how low the Sky player now is. But equally, the time bought is enough for the rotations to come through, enough to completely dismantle the site take, leaving Bubs in a 1v4, and Chloe, the deagle that they collected off of the corpse of Hezekiah, will reign true, will hit the shots that they need to further solidify their potential of pulling forward on to a win. 8-5 now. Like I said, they gotta get aggressive, they gotta deny these initial site takes somehow. I mean, like I said, you don't have a Sentinel to hold down a site, you don't have something to deny space other than your gun skills, other than your coordination and layering of this utility, which is exactly what we saw there, and it was quite textbook. For now, though, like I said, 8-5, now you have your weapons, and the only weapon on the side that might disrupt is Scanlan with the Marshall for the attackers here. And I mean, if they're headed towards B, it's smart here. If you can find Chloe in here, you can open up that halls. Your only obstacle would be at least Kashkek.
Where are we?
I mean, even a plant in this situation is good. But through the Nebula, without even the Haunt connecting, Reed is too strong. Not only will that kill, but now a second ping on the Field of Pain, bringing another 45 HP.
Player standing.
So it's just a graveyard with the better weaponry. Kashkek specifically with that Bulldog mowing down the members. 9-5. And I mean, that's expected, right? You win 2 when you win your pistol. So now this is the round where it either slips away with a Thrifty and Unity Esports can pull ahead, or esports organization will start to fight back by winning the rifle, forcing, you know, us to be headed towards a tied game. Now, though, it does look like they go for the approach with this Sentinel. This Killjoy player is able to lurk, able to hold down the extremities, while the real pressure, the real aggression is aimed towards the site, specifically being A here. They're challenging right at the gate and winning Field of Pain with the collateral. Find both of these A players now putting a lot of the weight here on Rylox. The only ARC players, rotations come through, but they will even fall through the smoke. So now the rotations, these players, only a Deagle, only a Bulldog, try and get the 1v5 back.
Last player standing.
And there it is, Field of Pain not done hunting for the hurt. And back turn. They not really through in the corner, not quite, not yet. For the timing, they thought they were getting pushed by Miss CEO, and it's not. 4K for Field of Pain. Like I said, it's been jet for jet frags so far, and they stopped the bleeding, 6-9. So they'll be able to keep their rifles into this round, which they know they need, because it's now going to be the rifle buy for their opponent. What's interesting, though, is look, Hezekiah now adopting the operator for the first time. in this game. And I mean, we've seen them frag out 20 and 10, holding on to that 2 KDA. So I'm not going to be surprised if they find a similar impact here on the operator. The only thing is they are about to pick mid, which is where the Killjoy has just been placing utility to hold. So that's going to be information robbed, I would say, from our attackers here. Interesting, trying to follow up and re-challenge the operator. But in the meantime, it does look like the attempt. Trailblazer able to run it back, and they come into the site, spot out the shorty. But it's actually the breach backside causing havoc on this site take attempt. Now Hezekiah as well, trying to leave their mark. But ultimately, like I said, the damage has come through. 3v1 situation, yes. Seal still fighting, but the Nova Pulse will connect. Because they're forced to fall back, forced to try and reclose the spike somehow. Maybe curveball is the answer, or the blaze. Cutting off these fights, they line up somehow, but it's only good for one. Somehow Tashkent walks away with their life, walks away with double digits for their team, and the operator recollected here for Hezekiah to reprise their role in this next round. Hopefully try and pull their team towards 11.
1 second, peeps. I gotta visit the Astral to play some stars.
Either way, great work out of both teams so far, reading and understanding where these teams have been pivoting. The question becomes, can esports organization start to stage a comeback? Their chances are slipping away slowly at 4th place. If they lose this, they will be ending in 5th place in this event. Either way, round starts, Blazestorm is out, and immediately Hezekiah shuts it down. They said that operator just shattering round plans here. Either way, second shot won't do the same. So that operator scare tactic is enough to scare everybody away, minus Krodo, who will be the next victim. Finally, there's the Odin, the other big boy weapon here, able to connect, and they're able to take that dice out of the pot. In the meantime, though, it's silence, no information gathered. That's why you see Biscuit kind of nervous, kind of uncertain. Maybe the Nebula's being placed, though, will add some certainty to the mix, as well as that running back and Trailblazer information now coming through. They're able to eliminate that. Gravity will a little bit early as well, hoping that the rest of the team was following up on that entry. It's actually though flowing, like I said, from Ari. The crossfire is too strong. The utility usage, like I said, these double flashes, so hard to deal with, especially when you have Prowler, a haunt in your face. And that is 11-6 now for Unity Esports. And because of that round falling apart, you see Hope, and specifically the weapons, slipping out of esports organization's grasp. Deagles, a Marshall, Field of Pain, trying to bring that hero Phantom in the mix, but still forced to light shield as well. I mean, would have been great if they had the Blazestorm for this round, but last round was shut out completely. Hezekiah, though, gonna be like, I have Blazestorm on my own here. And they are gonna take that hero rifle right in to Rylox's grips. Now they need to go on an expedition to recollect it. Messiah will be the one to conquer, one to try. Second curveball out, but they've been backstabbed immediately from Art yet again. Like I said, it's happened before, it's happened again. So suddenly 4v2, yes, they have Spike, but they are so split up. So much on Krodo here, but the read from Hezekiah is just insane. How do you expect him to be going through a main? And just like that, the pre-fire from the breach from Shop was isolated Scanlan. And suddenly, what was such a close game in the last half, 7-5, has quickly slipped away, making me sound like a liar when I said that the defense was going to be the hard half for Unity Esports here. They've pulled on to match point 12-6 and might be able to shut down the dreams of esports organization getting 4th place. For now, though, it looks like because of this gap, esports organization trying to simplify things, trying to just go for a straight hit, Cosmic Divide out, Util starting to pave their way into the B site. I'm not quite sure about this Cosmic Divide, though. You usually like to be a lot deeper here because you're giving so much site control over to the defenders, over to the retake here. And so far, because of that, you can see Feel the Pain, understanding that, trying to keep control with Messiah. And it will, in fact, work out for not just Cache, but Rylox as well. But now it's time for the defenders to stage their retake. Nightfall out first. They have the Rolling Thunder online, but the numbers disadvantage also there. So they might not want to put all their eggs in one basket. They might just let this round slip away from them, knowing it's 6-10. If they can't win the gunfights, which Clowen is like, okay, maybe we can. Now, suddenly a 4v3. If they can get Feel the Pain here, I think it would be a great chance. Yes, they do it. I think this is where you use your Rolling Thunder fault line, and there it is. Like I said, they want to close things out now, and so far, all the shots going in their favor. Finally, numbers of it is flipped. They're on the spike, but time is ticking, and is Scanlan being a hero? Is there enough time? I don't think so. Croto, the hero, swarm grenade to ensure that Bisquick couldn't get back on the spike. And although it's rough, 12-7, they keep their lifeline in Blue Skirmish August series. They get another chance to bat, but they still have to win 5 in a row, and their economy was already on the edge. So now that they lost every single one of their players, they're forcing back up yet again, where, I mean, yes, it's rifles, but it's full light shields, and you lose this round, you're back to a thrifty, where you would have to, I mean, if you lose this round, I mean, you're actually out. So, I mean, if you have to force every round, you can't win this devastatingly. Either way, though, like I said, 12-7, brimming with confidence with the better weapons and no shield, is Odin mowing through, shredding the opponents. Aggression from mid met equally, they'll feel the pain. Making quick work of that operator. I feel like as soon as this Odin's done spraying, yes, they're gonna force their way in the door, which might be the wrong mistake. No, Scanlan and Bubs both making their way here. Haven't quite given up any other control. They will catch Bisquick off guard, though. So not only a 3v1, they have the weapons. The issue is they are running right into where Kashkek has been since the round start. Guiding Light as well, getting caught on that ceiling. Won't be able to reveal their positioning. They might be lined up here at the Nebula. They're challenging this. Do they have the timing right? Not yet. Shorty into the Nebula. Searching for one. Fire's not connecting. Nebula fades, and the crossfire is too strong when you're faced against a firing squad of 3. And just like that, round 1, but yet again, quite costly. They only walked away with 2 guns because of that. I mean, yes, you're able to buy, but they're consistently on this light shield buy, giving advantage with these full shields over, in terms of the gun fights, to Unity Esports, who now has, you know, like I said, 3 players with full shields. I mean, they even forced Scanlan to pick up the Guardian and Rylix with the Bulldogs. So both of these teams are pretty strapped for cash here as this gap starts to close, as they try and fight to close things out. And I said that they were a little antsy, wanting to close things out early last round, and that over-aggression was thoroughly thwarted. But once again, now they're Claymore third, but it looks like Esports Organization isn't done with their own aggression, bringing it to this A site off the Cosmic Divide. They will be granted the plant. They even have, you know, this lockdown as a post-plant option if they need it. So this should be theoretically a 9th. They've given so much time to set up for this post-plant. And I mean, even feel the pain about to possibly, no, they don't win the exchange against Rylox, so that will open up Art if they can win this fight against Scanlan. No. 4v2. Players now opting to save here. Like I said, they know they have a few times. They have a few chances to close out this game before OT, before regulation ends. So they're going to take it in stride. They're going to play a little bit further back. Because of that, Scanlan now hunting for some weapon upgrades to take away from this save, to strengthen their chances in the next round. They are just too far away. 3 more chances for Unity Esports to rob this opportunity from Esports Organization. 3 more rounds for Esports Organization to fight and claw their way back into an OT opportunity to continue their run. Either way, once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 4 people about to challenge this mid-control, mid-plaza right out the gate. Only person there to meet them with open arms is Rylox, which is going to be the correct read. I mean, Feel the Pain's updraft. The Bladestorm will be awarded nothing at first glance. So they might go for it again to make sure nobody has replaced positioning. But like I said, nobody really occupying art at the moment. Instead, they're playing deeper back on this A site, having one person, in this case, Chloe, freely rotating. Alex, though, making solid work. Feel the pain as they cross over, punishing those rotations. I mean, even with all this utility, even with all this kind of rotation, Spike is still in spawn. So I think this lockdown is, in fact, a fake to sell an A-side execute while they rotate towards B, which you can see is being prodded by that Astra, prodded by Feel the Pain, and even now, they're pushing into the site as Spike is headed there, led by Macio. Cash Kick, though, trying to take this rotation option off the table. Able to find one, but ultimately they've gotten the read, they've gotten the rotations, and no, it was a fake. So they're going to be able to meet them here, not only with the numbers advantage, but with the positions ready. Crowley will confirm. They're finding someone in the open, though. Macio off the Spike, the flick to get Chloe. Numbers advantage still in favor, 4v3 here. Spike gets planted, but while Croto finds one to even the playing field at 3-3. I mean, Cosmic Divide's online as well for Cash Kick, and as I say, it gets invested. They want this round to end here, but there's so much utility left over, and suddenly, it's all eyes on Croto, and that post-plant utility slowly being whittled down. Uncertainty spelled by this Cosmic Divide. They know where one is, but that information won't mean they win the fight, and just like that, although they miss a few, third time is the charm, and 13-9. Unity Esports upsets the opportunity, upsets the chance for esports organization to make their first place run in week 4, upsets their chance for, you know, them to steal away 4th place. I mean, that's a devastating end to the August series for esports organization, who's been here almost every week, who's been here putting in the hours, but regardless, that's just how the cookie crumbles. And in the meantime, though, we do have our grand finals matchup. It is going to be Unity Esports versus Habaxti, who beat the Dancers, again, doubling down on their second time facing them to win 13-11, so they keep their chances at pulling ahead into first place on the leaderboards alive. It does mean, though, that esports organization will have to beat the Dancers and take 3rd place to ensure that Habaxti has an opportunity to steal away first place. So, I mean, if you're a Habaxti fan, you are rooting tooth and nail for esports organization to pull off the upset of a lifetime against Dancers, who I believe they, you know, they seem like they're way out of their league. Either way, though, like I said, we have our grand finals matchup, Habaxti versus Unity Esports. So we will go to a quick break and join you for that coverage in a little while. Hello, hello. We are back for our grand finals, the last match of the August series of Blue Skirmish. And I have some updating, almost heartbreaking news for all of you Habaxty fans out there in terms of our third, fourth place match before we jump into our grand finals, which is the fact that esports organization have forfeited the third, fourth place matchup in lieu of them not being able to pull ahead into fourth place. And that does mean that Habaxty cannot overtake the Dancers. So Dancers will take first place. Habaxty will take second. Uwakitens should take third. Black Air Force Energy should take fourth. And I believe Esports would take fifth, but I'm not sure if there's anybody that was below that might take over fifth place. Either way, that does mean that our matchup here, which is Unity Esports versus Habaxty, is for pride, is for being the week 4 winner. Whether it'll be Unity Esports coming out of left field, not having competed in any weeks other than week 4, or will it be Habaxty being a our only team to win 2 different weeks of the Blue Skirmish August series? Either way, we are headed to Haven, like I said, so let's jump in to Agent Select, where attackers will be starting, our Unity Esports will be starting as our attackers. All right. Looking at the lock-ins right now,
Select your
it does
agent.
look like it's going to be pretty much a mirror comp, other than Kashkek reprising their role as the Asher that we just saw over on Pearl, versus, God's Punishment, that other kind of chaotic, that other explosive controller player opting for the Omen that we've seen time and time again. And I mean, their outplay potential on an Agent on Ascent is wild, so I have no doubt that here on Haven, it will be the same kind of story. Either way, though, It's nice to see at least some kind of difference in the compositions, even if it is minute in terms of the controller. But in my eyes, I always like this as a controller difference because, like Astra, right? Like I said, it gives you more post-plant potential. It gives you more of a global support versus that Omen, like we've seen, they have such different playstyles. They'll more be that lurker. They'll more be trying to apply pressure in different parts of the map because they do have a pretty good range for their smokes, but they can always be nearby, or that from the shadows can completely upset a team if you're not paying close enough attention. Either way, though, jumping in, looks like we'll be getting a first read at where these teams are planning to head. I mean, obviously, like I said, Unity Esports once again starting out on the attack like they did over on Pearl. And although, I mean, they had a great start. I think it was 7-5 at the half. So attack is definitely where their strong suit lies. But then they completely closed out on the defense as well, only letting Esports organization take one more round off of them. So I mean, or only a few more rounds off of them, I should say. So it'll be interesting to see which half, especially with the compositions being so similar, they're more successful on. Either way, though, as the clock expires, it does look like Zash is gonna get aggressive right out the gate here. And what's interesting here is they're actually on the duelist role. They've been playing the Initiator over on Ascend versus Cryo has now swapped to the Initiator over on that Breach. So otherwise, the roles have been the same from the Ascent we saw earlier. On the other hand, though, as well, some role swaps coming out for our attackers for Unity Esports, like Rylox going to the Sentinel instead of that Initiator, since they're not running a triple Initiator here. Either way, though, first exchange doesn't quite result in a kill, but it does result in Clowen being pretty low in HP as they pivot now towards Barrage, towards the seaside. But look at the response from a backseat. Two people pinching both sides. That shock dart even finishing off Clowen. And the exchanges so far, all the fight is going in favor of a backseat. 4v2, now 3v2. As somehow the bleeding will stop. Spike will get recovered. They take the fight against Kitty Glamour temporarily. But now Cavalry arriving, and look, they're even about to get backstab. Knife out. There it is. Like I said, you have to keep an eye on where God's punishment, where Divine Punishment is playing, or they will find you. They're always on the flank. They're always on the lurk. All right, just expect it. If you're hearing me, if you're listening, you know, Unity Esports, that's what you take away. Either way, first round goes in favor of our defenders, goes in favor of the backseat. So now this second round, instead of trying to overcook things, to overcomplicate things, it does look like they're just going to go for a pretty decisive A hit. Might lead their Killjoy, you know, to watch the flank, but who knows. Either way, though, it looks like this has been red. You're about to see this Breach Jet combination. We love to see this Nebula playing spoiler, forcing them to get even deeper into main. Tailwind active as well, trying to find some use for it before it expires. So far being granted nothing. And the Dark River more used as an escape route, but Kashkek is hunting them down. Hezekiel as well, gonna just play spoiler here. Or a distraction, I should say, for Crocus.
One enemy remaining.
Suddenly, though, all the Deagle shots are raining through the silence. Weapon upgrades collected. Divine Punishment left in the 1v3 situation with the worst of the Force weapons, the Marshal. Is granted a jump peek from Biscuit, but nothing comes out of it. Does enable themselves to get a better weapon to try and bring things into favor. Kashkek, though, I like how reserved they're playing. They're the one that has the bigger weapon. So they're letting their other teammates take the fight first, but suddenly the target swap, they go for the full 90 degrees and get that kill, but they don't get Chloe, who's the closest player. And just like that, the Thrifty, to bring things back to a 1-on-1, to disrupt the flow, disrupt the momentum that Backseat would have hoped to start building with that conversion. Either way, though, a great round, like I said, playing together, upsetting the initial plans of a Backseat, and that duo synchronized utility. Because of that, like I said, now they have rifles, now they have some of the bonus weapons from the last round that they won, specifically that Bulldog being headed back to Kashkek. And because they're on a Thrifty, look at this fast aggression, this solid read coming out from a Backseat. It's going to be a war quite literally on the seafront. These better weapons are mowing them down. Yes, the rotations come through, so 3 people will be waiting backside C, but damage is done. Util all in place. Weapons as well. Yes, Kitty Glamour will get feud with the Deagle, but ultimately low HP, full blind. 2 is all they get, and it's a second round expectedly in favor of Unity Esports.
I need this.
Now, though, like I said, it was a save last round, so they expected it to go by fast. Now, though, on their buy, we're already seeing an operator out of Zash here. Everybody else with the standard rifles.
Placing sentry.
All right. Otherwise, though, Hazakoil looking like they're going to try and play personal, up close and aggressive with this judge. They also have the Bleedstorm obviously online, so that might be their fallback plan or their entry option. And it looks like, once again, because of their success on that C site, they might be going for aggressive out the gate. Yet again, this time, though, do they expect the full weapons? It doesn't matter if the Bleedstorms connect as beautifully. Site taken without much resistance here. See that breach force back into CT, waiting now for the rotations to come through for the rest of the team as well. Hazakoil, though, opts not to take the upgrade. Opts to play this close angle with the judge. We'll see if anybody spawns victim to it. For now, though, 4v5.
Placing swarm grenade.
And I'm questioning this decision. This is like such a winnable round. They've bought up weapons. But right out the gate, Baxti is choosing to save. I'm wondering what the reasoning is for this. Are they that confident later in the round? Because this is going to mean it's going to be 3-1. They'll have 4 weapons at least, unless... I mean, look at Hazakoil. There's so much time together they've granted that they have time to go hunting here. They've already made the spawn. They might be granted the battle on Cryo. The question is, can they win it? No. Operator forces them out. And just like that, 3-1, 4 weapons saved. And we try again. I don't know if they didn't use it because the shock darts didn't land, if they didn't think they would have enough utility to get back into that site. But regardless, insane save. Insane, I guess, post-play that means, because they didn't even want to attempt to challenge it. And we'll see if there's any differences they can make now. Already heading towards this A site pretty much in full force. Utility there once again from this jet breach combo, but the operator won't find anything. But just the operator's presence enough will scare the entirety of Unity Esports towards this C site where this Omen, where this Killjoy are playing a crossfire. Fallen will break it up though, and the tailwind in. They allow them to sneak through as a bait, and they will find one. Look for the second, but the sucks low HP. They're forced to get out of dodge, but they won't be able to escape the crossfire. The Odin that blocks, that radiant blocks, paper thin. Ashkashkek well will double down on the site hold. So it's gonna be a 4v3 this time though. No saves in sight. They are going for this, even with Zash rocking the operator. Shock darts, of course, them off default. They also know how low, the breach is here. All this delay util coming in. Aldron's able to make it through at least for some information, but Zash just dropped so low HP, right 33. And they're just so hesitant now on these retakes, already hesitant that, like I said, God's punishment might be going backstab. And I mean, once again, completely denied a retake opportunity. 3v1 with this op, trying to save it, trying to run only 1 bullet though. And I think they're gonna get pinned even if they get this kill on Kashkek. Tailwind expended to try and get away to keep them ahead of these these attackers, trying to chase after them, trying to get this operator off the table. It has played spoilers so far, even though they haven't lost any rounds due to it. So they don't want it here, but I mean, not everyone gets their wishes, not everyone gets their way, and the operator will reprise its role for Zash. Now though, I mean, it looks like I was about to say the Odin might have been handed off onto Hazakoil, but Clowen's gonna reprise that again as well. So it's gonna be the Odin versus the op story of a lifetime, like usual. But I mean, Unity Esports is in such a good place now. Not only only up 3 rounds with the economy, they have enough to buy for at least 2 rounds if they lose. So we need to see some momentum starting to get built up by a Baxter here. They need a round win, and that might be why we're seeing such a fast rotation, such a fast gamble pivot over to this A site. But I want to point out that Unity Esports has also not been afraid to rotate right off the bat. So that's what makes me nervous about this rotation. And as I say that, look. They set it in motion. Spike already headed back towards Garden. Yes, the Jet's saying to hold the angle with the breach to make sure no aggression. So the question becomes, is this a fake or is it a full rotation? So far, looks like they're going to peek window, so it might be an exploration towards the B site. Because this is the close corners of Haven, they are only a few steps away from there. For now, silence, a stalemate, as they decide to invest in the rotate or double down on the site take after the selling the fake. And it looks like they are in fact wanting to go back towards this A side, but Kitty Glamour is ready, shutting down the entry, shutting down Hezekiah. And there are still 3 members for Baxi on this side. The Killjoy finally opting to go towards B, thinking that that kill would be enough. No, they're gonna invest the lockdown, but like I said, they had already opted to rotate before it was invested. So all this does is cut off the choke point into the B side, force the pivot into garage, which, you know, I mean, you can't challenge that. You can challenge an op though and lose to it. CT out of the nebula. The utility there to deny. The peak is too late. But 15 seconds left. They will at least get the plant. Now that Odin making quick work of the members CT, and suddenly it would look like such a stark control over the momentum over the map here from Abaxi has slipped away. 3v2 in favor of Unity Esports.
Right
I
there.
mean, even Zash at 8 HP with the operator. A breath could take them out. All of this is truly on Crocus, who's actually paving their way, able to tap the spike, but it's all a part of Unity Esports' plan. I mean, Hunter's Fury in. And even if you get this, you're the one with low HP. And look at Logs. There it is. They get the run around. And although Crocus walks away with the kill, they still need points on the board at this point, which they are not getting. 5-1. At least they don't get the operator back. I mean, I wouldn't even say even that. I mean, at least. I mean, that's like even they don't get the operator back. Like, that's an even bigger win on the side of Unity Esports. I mean, they're too broke to rebuy the Odin. The Odin literally was their, or sorry, the operator was their strategy, was kind of their linchpin in closing down at least one of the sites so they could focus their efforts on the other 2. Now that it's gone, they're going back to the strategy of an aggressive push out, an aggressive kind of front to try and catch Unity Esports off guard. But Unity Esports has been expecting it, and they've been shutting it down. This time though, the Bladestorm might be the difference maker. Haven't been able to shut it down yet. Rylox will fall. They aren't done hunting just yet though. Because of this, because of that pressure from mid. Quick pivot into the A site where Kitty Glamour, you don't challenge them alone. They can win those fights even with a Deagle. Looking for more, but they won't find it. Biz quickly grasping that site back in their control. But look how low these players are. 1 shot per person. This Hunter's Fury can completely destroy this site take. Causing Divide to further delay. Forcing the plant off default, but the shock dart lands at the same time the Bladestorm comes in with the updraft over the site. Through the Cosmic Divide, these players playing together. It's just Cash Keck. And 5-2, it costs them everything, but it's a thrifty nonetheless to get a second round on the board. I think, truly, like I said, for me, Crocus and Zash there, being the dynamic duo, the Hunter's Fury forcing these players to bob and weave, giving the opportunity for Zash to capitalize off that updraft Bladestorm kill. And I mean, that's the kind of retakes that we need to see. They need to go for it wholeheartedly, which they haven't been really doing on those C site retakes. They just kind of like are like, oh no, we can't get in through CT. They aren't kind of trying to force their way back through garage. They're not exploring other avenues. They're not setting up any flank plays that we're used to seeing. And I wonder if that's because Rylex on that Sentinel has been able to hold down the flank successfully. I mean, we've seen, like I said, God's Punishment. We've seen Divine Punishment consistently abuse flanks, and they haven't been able to do that so far. The interesting thing here is, up 5-2, Cash Keck on Unity Esports is the one to take the first timeout of the day here. And I wonder if it's more, one thing is to just end the momentum that have actually tried to set up. It's like, yes, you just won a round, congrats, but we're going to strip that momentum away from you. Like, you can't string rounds together if we're taking a 45-second break. The other thing is, they probably saw something there that was like a huge mistake that they can easily fix pretty soon out the gate here. Either way, though, like I said, 5-2, not too shabby. One more round, and they'll have the kind of, at least the half tied up at minimum, and then they can fight for those extra rounds to add on top of it. This round, though, I feel like it's going to definitely be a little bit chaotic. Both Rolling Thunders online from the shadows, like I said, that could be a thorn in their side. And I mean, look, the Operator's even back into the fray for Zash after saving last round. This is the first time that it's playing on the C site, and it's actually an incorrect read. Spike headed more towards A, maybe going to be a mid, late round pivot. But either way, it's been left to Kitty Glamour alone on the A site. Does have The lockdown for Rylox, though, on the ready. They need to use its sewers to take the site.
Here.
Glimmer realizing, asking for the smokes, trying to use them to hold down this site in the solo play. Looks like, though, I don't want to say it's been recognized, but I think we're seeing Habaxi wanting to give this site up, pretty much. Yes, maybe if they find somebody in a safe position from that Killjoy Heaven, but Cry, you can see, is ready, probably to pop the Rolling Thunder as soon as they hear the tap. I mean, they even had the shock dart lineups at the ready from Crocus. Like, even though Unity Esports is making their way onto the site, here it comes, is my guess. Like I said, the way that they can win this is by going all in on these retakes. My only concern is here, looking garage window, a backstab. That might have been the result of that timeout. Cash Keck going for the flank of their life, gonna try and play spoiler to this trade of ultimates. Both Rolling Thunders locked down, now in. I think it missed. Hezekiel in hell as well. Question is, Cash Keck, they have the correct timing, able to find Crocus. And now they're hunting down these last two players. One of them even detained here. Cryo, though, it might use this as an opportunity to flip the map. And I think they realize that two of the attackers now flooding their way back into the site and making sure that Cryo can't make work of this. And although they get undetained and get one, Divine or God Punishment, as all they will be able to do is play spoiler to the economy. That's already, I mean, pretty secure on the side of Unity Esports. There it is, 6-2. Like I said, at least a tie half established. I'm looking at the economy here. It's gonna be another forced buy coming out from a backseat, reprising the operator yet again. It feels like at this point, Habaxi is the one that needs to take the timeout. They've been kind of throwing their heads against the wall and not denting it because nothing they've done has changed the outcome. And it looks like they've been doing a lot of the same things. Like last round, I think, was finally a pivot. Like I said, they committed to the 5-person retake with those ultimates, but then they left their exterior open. They didn't think of Castic being a flank here. Finally, though, looks like their plans are going accordingly as the operators on the correct site that they execute is coming through on. Raycon Bolt, though, will afford Clowin some shock dart action. It doesn't connect. Because of this operator, it's the only thing that's been able to kind of hold down a site in its own right. You see the operator, they immediately rotate on the side of Unity Esports. For now, though, it looks like they're going to challenge either Garage or the B site as that pivot point. Which God's Punishment, I mean, Divine Punishment is ready for, but they're not ready for the storm of 3 players spraying them down, wallbangs and all, through the doorway. So that'll cost them their life, evening the playing field back at a 4-on-4. Not a lot of utility used on the side of the backseat, which is the only saving grace here. There's a lot of utility being used. I mean, swarm grenades, shock darts on the side of Unity Esports. We've seen this before. Waiting until there's very, very little time. Selling these fakes and then exploding into a site from Unity Esports. And that's exactly what they're about to do again. This time into the C site. So it's all going to be on Zash here, or maybe even Kid Glamour in CT if Rylox is able to force their way past. And so far, not yet. And it's Kitty Glamour, like I said, able to punish this late timing for not 1, not 2, but the trifecta to finally bring even the 3rd round on the board for their team to keep them alive, keep them fighting for that tied score here on Haven in the grand finals of Week 4's Blue Skirmish August series. Either way, though, looks like a gamble coming out here from Unity Esports. Like, they wouldn't put the operator on C again. And it looks like that read is in fact correct. The operator now placed on A to play off of the Sova Initiator utility contact.
Right there.
The only difference here, though, is look, it looks like we're going to see both Kitty Glamour and Diviner God of Punishment trying to change the pace of this round, trying to play up close and personal. Killjoy even maybe being a distraction here for the Omen, but it falls flat. They clear it out effortlessly. And now it forces the rotation from the breach as well, with the layers of utility coming in. Wow, does a good job denying initially, trying to stall things out, but ultimately they're forced to relinquish the space. And this is the site that we've seen them deny the retake attempt on twice. They've been forced to save, so will they commit to it? Finally, like I said, I wanted to see this. I wanted to see them prodding or trying different avenues on this map. This time, CT being the plan. Turret's gonna swap them out, so you see the repivot from Rylox. They just need to win the fights now. They've drawn the attention, but the attention now faltering.
One enemy remaining.
And suddenly it's a 3v1, and like I said, if that flank pressure falls, then you're left to just Crocus. And 7-3 lead now firmly grasped by Unity Esports. Question now becomes, how much can you make up for in this half? You know you can't come away with a lead, you know you can't tie things up, but a 7-5 would be a lot better than a 9-3, which is what you're looking at if you lose the next 2 rounds. I mean, this round, they are quite literally draining the bank. They lose this next round, they're basically handing the 9-3 over, at least the 8-3. Yeah, the 9-3 over, yes. Because I mean, Stinger, and the Light Shield, the Operator, Glass Cannon. I mean, Crocus is the only one with a decent buy with the Phantom and the Full Shield, so they're gonna have to be the hero for their team. But for now, the timing just barely missed by Kitty Glamour. That would have been an amazing opportunity if they pushed out in the grass. Either way though, Hezekiah, once again, making the most space for their team, quite uncontested, making it look easy. But they are dropped to 10 HP, so they shouldn't be able to find much more. For Kitty Glamour, all this going to plan. What doesn't go to plan is Cryo somehow finding Cloven. Cash kick though, once again the backstab. Might even be able to get the lockdown offline if they keep pushing. No. They're gonna be forced to respect it. No, they somehow get the wall. Oh my goodness. Now a 3v2. Cryo's done a good job of trying to fight back into this. More just being the solo player here, and ultimately Rylox will shut down that hero attempt at Hero's Journey. And Zash, I mean, like I said, they're gonna be broke next round. This Operator has been, I mean, I don't want to like. That's just funny. The quick scope doesn't land, and even the Operator that they were trying to save will fall. I feel like that Operator has been both their kind of been their crutch. It's been their downfall as well. They've been saving it every round, and it just hasn't had a big enough impact. Yes, it gets a kill here or there, but like the rotations that come through from Unity Esports essentially have nullified it. Because it's been like, if they keep hitting the site, then yes, you get the opportunities to opt time and time again. But as soon as one player falls or one shot is missed, they're like, okay, we don't challenge it, we're disciplined, we go to an alternative site. And then you're left with an Operator on retake on your only duelist, and there's not much impact they can find. I mean, Hezekiah, A10, when they were at the top of the leaderboard in the last map, that got them here to the grand. I mean, sorry, yeah, Zashir 9-7, like, even on their ascent map, they were like a top player on the initiator. Like, it's been insane to see the Jet players towards the bottom of the leaderboard, or like not having the frag that they had previously. Hezekiah though, hearing what I was saying about them being not as fraggy as they were in the last map, quickly open things up with a nice first blood. Does get traded out, but it will ensure the plant, unless Thunder's Fury has something to say about it. Not quite. Won't even be able to find quite any pings. And now, knowing that this is the last round, all the ultimates starting to come out, Cosmic Divide, to try and ensure that a site take can't happen. Aldrin almost doesn't clear them out, but it will now. Retake, like I said, this round there's nothing to save. So Rolling Thunder in, they try to get the attempt. Both players, though, eliminated by Hezekiah. Cryo now. 60 HP, one hit from Thunder's Fury would end it all. Able to force the players out. Oh my goodness. With an amazing utility usage in Cubby. But I mean, Recon Bolt, flowing, playing time, knows it's halved, 25 HP. Just jiggle peeking it away. Is able to get the kill. Is able to secure the 9-3. And I mean, it's looking grim for Baxter. I mean, I know I spoiled it for them saying that Dancers was able to secure 3rd place points. But I mean, it also hints on them getting 1st place here, which I mean, Unity Esports not only has been playing spoiler to esports organization getting 4th, but they would have played spoiler to Baxter getting 1st. Either way. So here 9-3, the question is, the 9-3 curse, will it come to fruition? Or will we have a quick sailing here? I mean, you win your pistol, you might as well be able to get your double digits, and then the 11th on top of that. We could be quickly closing things out here. I do think, though, I mean, we've seen so many changes from a backseat, so many adjustments against other opponents. I don't know why they're not being able to find the same thing here against Unity Esports. I don't know if it's the map or what it is, but either way, look at this plan. Like I said, they have the Ego 9-3 coming out for Unity Esports, so because of that, they're going to push out C-Long. Because of that, cash is good for both. Cloven as well, able to find Zash over on an adventure towards an opposing site. And And I mean, what more could you ask for? It's silent now.
Last player
Cryo
standing.
will be the one to break the silence. No, it's Hezekiah. Leaving now 1v4 for Cryo to take. And they will not be able to win it out. So that is double digits. That is the pistol for Unity Esports. It is double digits, like I said. It should be their 11th. I'm wondering if we'll see a force up. No, they're not even going to force on the side of a backstee.
Out of charges.
So they are just going to hinge on trying to win this outright. And we've seen some heavy deagle shots from them in their first week and in previous games. So it's devastating to see this. But it does look like they're going to head for the closer site. Which, I mean, it was good because they have Bulldogs, not Spectres, mainly on the side of Unity Esports. Either way, though. Chaos. Bulldog leaving Cryo. Like I said, it's a challenge. Deagle to Deagle, it's a fair fight, but it's still a flawless in favor
Just let them
of Unity Esports. And now they pull ahead on to 11 points, 11-3. Making quick work of our previous week 2 victors. You know, I would have loved to see a Dancers Unity Esports matchup in like a previous week, right? Or even like, that would have just been the cherry on top to see if they would have been able to upset everybody if they had just started a few weeks earlier in the Blue Skirmish August series. Regardless though, not obviously buying any weapons, this is their bonus, versus now the rifles. If they win this, that would be the final nail in the coffin, that's all I can say, because you know, you would not be able to buy if you were a backstee here. For now though, I don't know about this decision to play so split up. You give any of these weapons over, it could be catastrophic, especially on a retake attempt. For now, though, it looks like Spike is headed towards the A site. Able to slip by Chloe at first, temporarily. Does confirm that it's only a Marshall waiting for them there. Now the support comes in for them to try and hold down the site, specifically the Nebula, specifically. As the Coil able to make their way out of short. Does reaggress, so it awards them a body shot onto one player.
here.
I think it more awards them the success is the scare tactic. See, they've abandoned their hopes of the safe site, minus the alert coming out from Cryo to try and find something. But even they are forced to give up. Now is executing a C. Not only do they have Cash Keck waiting backside, but they have this Killjoy utility that's quite literally grinding them. And it will possibly be, like I said, what forces this game on to match point. There it is, like I said, Cash Keck, the Bulldog baddie. I mean, the Bulldog's been just as deadly as a Vandal in their hand. It almost seems like their preferred weapon here. And they are hunting down Kitty Glamour, who is supposed to be the late round lurk to try and close out a round, and now are faced with the weight of the world on their hands to try and deny what was a pseudo-thrifty, a bonus. And I mean, 12 seconds left. They can't even get the spike and get to his side. They're being forced to save here, which means it will be match point 12-3 for Unity Esports. Which would mean that they need to win 9 rounds in a row if they want a chance at winning the glory of first place in week 4.
Match point.
Tall bit of fill, but I would hope to see a timeout here if they wanted a chance at going on that run. But doesn't look like they are a fan of the timeouts. Looks like they're just going to play it out as it is, knowing it's just a map for honor.
Can I get this?
And it looks like we might even see a war on grass. We might see like an all-out show to end out the Blue Skirmish August series. The question is, who will come out on top this round? Hezekiah bringing out the operator that could get punished immediately, especially with this flashpoint and the shocker combination. It's actually Rylox though. Good for 2 outside of Garage. Finally, the car just shut down at least. Bleeding stops, the damage done. 2v4 from the backstab from Chloe. And just like that, Cryo again left in the 4v1. And it is over. Insanely dominant performance from Unity esports, especially after how close that game was from an esports organization, a team that's been playing in Blue Skirmish but hasn't been getting as far as the grand finals each week. I mean, that shows that, I mean, an esports organization to me could have had a solid chance against the Dancers. But regardless, like I said, Backseat just losing this match means there wouldn't have been a chance of them securing that first place. So once again, thank you to all the teams who participated today. Thank you to the teams that kept coming back every single week. I mean, those kind of recurring teams is what allows them to build up points, allows them to get towards the top of that leaderboard. Like the Dancers, like Kittens won, Abaxi, Secret Champs came back for a second week after winning last week, Black Air Force Energy, an esports organization. And like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the final standings. I won't, sorry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it will be Dancers in first, Habaxi in second, Kittens in third, fourth, Black Air Force Energy, and then esports organization, I want to say, is in fifth. I do want to double check that though, because obviously first place, no, it'll just be 100. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all right for Blue Skirmish in the August series. I do want to shout out, obviously, the person behind the scenes, obviously FaZe, you know, they're here, they're observing, they're here with the overlays they're producing. I mean, they've even helped you if you had any questions or tickets in the server, and they truly are what has made this possible. So thank you all for watching the August series. I have been Zobi, and it's been a pleasure being your host, analyst, and caster for Blue Skirmish August series. Have a great night.